New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Hello, everyone. This is Rev Z.
And this is Rev Michael.
Yeah, Rev Michael is sitting in for Rev Briz as he's away on business. And this is New Thought Today, where we get a chance to talk to luminaries, if you will, in the New Thought movement and look at where New Thought is headed now and in the future. And so glad to have you here, Reverend Michael, and so glad you could sit in for Reverend Briz today. How's it going?
Yeah, I got the emergency phone call. You know, I have in the studio here the red phone, and the red phone started glowing, and so I pick it up and it says help, and I said okay.
Yes. yes. Yeah, well, I appreciate your help because it's been a rough morning for me. My electricity has been out for the whole day, and as you would normally say on your show, I'm somewhere in a bunker that they can't find right now, trying to do this show.
Oh, you are in a secure concrete bunker somewhere.
Yes, somewhere. Yeah. So, but it's a pleasure to be here with you today, and it's even a bigger pleasure for us to bring on our guest, the enlightened musician and banner holder for the New Thought movement. Jami Lula is here with us today. Hey, Jami, how are you?
Hey, Rev Z, how you doing, Michael?
I'm doing well.
Yeah.
Yes,
good to see you, sir.
Yeah,
good to
we're
be
honored
seen.
to have you here. Honored, as they say, you know, my aunt would always tell me, it's better to be seen than to be viewed.
The truth.
So I hold that truth and stick to it. So hey, Reverend Michael.
Yes.
So, what is your favorite Jami Lula song?
Oh no, I'm sorry, that's putting me on the spot. I can't tell you. I mean, they're all great. So,
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll put you on the spot. What is yours?
Okay. God, see, I guess a turnabout is fair play. There's so many, but I don't mean something's calling me deeper than I've ever been before.
Yeah.
And I'm not even sure if Jami wrote that one, but he sings the heck out of it.
Yeah, I wrote it.
And every time I hear it, it brings tears to my eyes.
Do you know the story of that song?
Tears to my eyes every time I hear it.
Do you know the story of that song?
No. Tell us, please.
So Susie and I have been together, officially, unofficially, since like June of 1998. And we started out as prayer partners. And she was doing a 30-day prayer devotional with Kathleen McNamara, who was then the head of the prac corps at Agape. And she said, we're doing a 30-day prayer devotional. I'm like, what's that? And she said, well, we call each other every morning and we see what we want to be held in prayer for. And I said, well, I want to do that. And we were hanging out. We weren't romantic. We weren't kissing. We weren't doing anything. And actually a number of songs came from it. But that particular day, I remember I was living on Moore Park in 1-bedroom apartment bungalow. And and I'm sitting, and she's praying, and I said, I gotta go. Something's calling me, and I gotta go. There's a song coming through. I gotta write it down. And I went out of the prayer and started writing this song. And then I didn't have the bridge. I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do with the bridge. And I was at her house because my wife is a classically trained pianist that had stopped for 7 years and then recorded an album of her own, With an Open Heart was their first solo piano recording. And my friend Ed Munter, who's an amazing singer-songwriter, and I were at her house talking about what she could do, for her career. And so she grew up with classical music. Like she didn't really, Beatles and Simon and Garfunkel were about like the most she was aware of. And I said, well, this is what's going on. I can't figure out the bridge. She goes, I don't know why I'm saying this, but something's telling me that it's supposed to be bluesy, whatever that means. She was just like hearing, and then it turned into the A minor C7 D7 E7 bridge and the Oh Lord part. But it was interesting because it came.
Mm-hmm.
It was a download. It was in prayer. It was probably something that she said, and don't tell her because then I'll owe her, royalties or something.
Oh, I mean, she's not on there with the as a co-writer.
No.
So Jami, is that how you write though? Do you write that kind of in that kind of download fashion, or how do songs come to you?
Michael, it's so many different ways. I've had songs that come through, and it's like, with my old band, there was one night where we had just found out that we were getting signed by Interscope Records, which fell through, but met some girl at El Coyote who was with a friend of mine. We went back to the rehearsal space we were in, and I wrote something from top to bottom. They just started jamming on something, and it came through. I had married her. We were sitting on the porch. We had a glider with wind chimes, and it was raining. All this stuff. Maybe went back through just from that recording on a Walkman, and changed maybe 3 words of it. And then I have a song that I wrote that I just completed in like 23 called Lord, I Really Want to Know, or I Really Want to Know. That literally took me 25 years to write, because I had started it when I was leading a songwriter's circle at a place called Highland Grounds on Highland in Hollywood. And I just got the hook on Lord, I really want to know. And it was just 2 chords. I turned it into 3-chord song. But I kept writing on it and writing on it and writing on. Nothing resonated. And then everything that's gone on in the last 5-6 years, George Floyd and any number of things. And it just started coming to me. And it's like the first verse is, well, I burned an old glory because it doesn't mean the same as it once was supposed to. We've conquered, killed, and maimed, stole the soul out of Africa and called it our own, but it wasn't ours to borrow, beg, steal, or loan. I'm a straight white man of privilege, had a prejudice, I know. Out of ignorance, I swallowed the pill that I was sold, but we're never free from slavery. If anyone's in chains, let's concede our story and rewrite our history, or rewrite our, something like that. I screwed up the last part of it, but then it just came in. It was about the gay community. It was about the immigrant community, but it literally, it was like 25 years in the making.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's various ways.
Do you ever, and I have a friend of mine who, our musician at our center. So what he'll do sometimes is he will rewrite songs. Have you ever done that? Like, for example, something you've written 10 years ago, and you go back and something has either changed in your life or in the world, and you feel that you need to update the song?
I guess that will sometimes happen, but it's usually a word or two. It's not like the entire thing. What I find is when I'm singing the songs, if I've written a song, like Something's Calling Me, I wrote in like 1998 when Susie and I were first dating. I find that it shifts as I shift and grow and expand and unfold. So where I sing it from, I never sing it from where I wrote it. I always sing it from where I am in the moment.
Okay.
That's probably the biggest shift that happens. That goes on where I'm singing it from, and it deepens. And Gary and I were just together last week, Gary Lynn Floyd, and we've been writing for 13 years now. And we played through some of the stuff that we put on our first record, which was a live record, which was our first full live performance. And we turned it into an album because we were going to do some touring. We went back while he was here and started playing some of that stuff. And it's like, what? We don't have a studio recording of this. We really need to, because it's a different instrument, the studio and live.
Yes.
And there's some songs that it's like, wow, they've even taken on a more profound awareness singing them 12, 10 to 13 years later.
Wow.
Well, and I know that the audience will not like us if we don't ask this question. So how did a nice guy like you end up singing doing inspirational music and singing at New Thought churches, centers?
I started singing at churches when I was in my early 20s. I was a cantor at a Catholic church doing Saturday evening service and then the first service on Sunday. My friend Tom at the time had been the cantor there. He did all of the services. And so I hooked it up. That was the first church I sang. And then I've been seeking God for a long time. But then, in my late 20s, early 30s, I got to Agape. And well, a step back. I'd had an awareness at the height of my drinking and alcohol abuse. And I was coming down off of something one morning. And what the download that I had was, God's not out there, God's within me, and we're not right and they're not wrong. And I looked around and thought, what the heck was that? Because I didn't have anybody, no metaphysicians in my life. The heroes that I knew, they knew how to drink and go to work. They knew how to get laid and they knew how to score dope. That was a theme. And, but I got to Agape, officially 9 months after my dad died. I was in a pretty dark place, and I heard what Michael was saying in it, and it resonated, and that saying kept coming back to me. God's not out there, God's within me, we're not right and they're not wrong. And so in the process of that, that was the early 90s. I've been at Agape now for 32 years. And I just decided, you know what, this is the message that I want to really foster in my life. And while over the last couple of years, I've definitely written some more secular stuff like that, Lord, I really want to know it's more socially aware and stuff. I just wanted to write stuff that was going to inspire people and uplift people, open their hearts, so.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and you speak about Agape. I know Agape is coming up on its 40th anniversary.
Yep.
And I'm sure I keep waiting for the promos, if you will, because I want to try to get there for sure. But tell me what it's been like to have that type of longevity, 32 years for you in at Agape, and how do you see, given all the things that are going on today, how do you see this music being a salve, if you will, to help heal some of our hearts and minds, but also to motivate?
You're breaking up a little bit, but I'll go with the gist of what I heard you say. What I heard you say is like, how is the music becoming a salve and helping people to navigate their way through the situation right now. Sobriety has been a big gift in my life on many levels. And it's certainly helped me find a greater sense of compassion in my heart. I I actually shared about this last week with Skip Jennings. I just feel like there's a lot of people out there with unhealed trauma. A lot of angry people that are projecting their stuff on everybody else, including, well, I won't even go there, but it's like, there's a lot of people out there projecting their unhealed trauma. They're projecting their hatred is a self-hatred that they're projecting outward. And I'm just hoping, because it's like, I know where I sing from. I'm not, as much as I want, I want to sing on key and I want to, that it's like, I know where I'm singing from is a deep core soulfulness. And I'm not trying to be arrogant. I'm just saying, it's like, I know that it's coming in. It's like when soul speaks to soul, I think that in and of itself is a really healing process. And I've been at North Hollywood now. I music directed there from June until December, and now I'm just artist in residence. But so much of what we've been working on is getting the congregation to sing and participate and stand up. And it's like, because a prayer sung is twice prayed. Yes. And it's like so many of the songs that I've written and that I've written with Gary Lynn Floyd and that I've written, it's like, if you come to a show of mine and you can't find a hook to take home with you that you're singing, you've been checked out, because it's like, there's a lot of those. And it's like, I want people to be able to sing these things, and they kind of become a mantra, whether it's you are the light of the world, and make a joyful noise unto the spirit of your life, or love is my religion, or compassion, whatever it is, there's a healing going on, any number of songs. I think that the action step, just my humble opinion, the action step, the act of prayer is an action step, and spiritual mind treatment requires us to take action. It's treat and move your feet. It's not treat and then wait for that shit to happen. Excuse my French. It's treat and take action. So it's like singing is an action, and like whether you're doing like a kirtan and you're singing Nam Yoho Ringi Kyo or whatever it is, it's like those kinds of vibrations raise our vibration. And I think it's our charge to continue to assist people to raise their vibration, and not pay attention to that lower vibration.
Yeah. Well, and that's key too, I think, because we know now through medical science and all the metaphysics teachings that vibration is healing, and that singing and humming and all those things that create a resonant tone not only heals the body, but it opens up the mind to receive these messages and songs and different things like that to move forward. So that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So just to
tell
kind
me,
of remind everyone where we're at. Hi
a
there.
little bit about
This is New Thought Today here on your New Thought Media Network, and I'm Reverend Michael, along with Reverend Z, and we're talking today with Jami Lula. Go ahead, Reverend Z. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. I was just asking Jami to give us a little insight into what happens on Wednesday night in North Hollywood. You said you got Wednesday Night Live, and those are always good experiences for me.
Skip Jennings graduated out of Agape. He actually graduated with my wife, Reverend Susie Lula, and he's the associate minister at North Hollywood. And we just had this desire, because it's like that, I'm embarrassed I forget the name because he changed it, but it's a healing service, and we're in a circle. So we open up with a couple songs, so sing-alongs. He does a meditation. We do the good news. We do the good news where he walks around the circle. Who's got good news? And people are sharing good news, which is, we spend good 10, 12 minutes on that. And then we do a meditation. There's a lot of singing, but it's in the circle. There's something magical about being in the circle. And Gary and I did it this last Wednesday, and we had a really great group of people. We did a lot of music. And Skip's just really dynamic. Reverend Sidney's dynamic as well. But like, I don't know about y'all, but when I got to Agape, it was on a Wednesday night. And it's like from that point on, every Wednesday, every Sunday. And then when I started taking classes, and then when I started, participating with the music team, it was like I was at Agape. This is when we were still in Santa Monica. I was there like 3 or 4 days a week, easy. But it's just that midweek service is like a bump, because it's like, sometimes people, all it takes is going out in the parking lot and it's like Sunday's gone, But
Yeah.
like Wednesday, it's like it just keeps you balanced through the week. And Skip is dynamic. It's a beautiful service. He's actually going to Bali. So the 11th, 18th, and 25th, I'm actually doing music and speaking. And I've got on the 11th, it's just me. On the 18th, Heather Grace Powers is coming. She's going to sing and I'm going to speak, and we're going to do stuff together. And then on the 25th, bringing Susie in. So my wife is coming in to speak, and I'll do the music. But it's just dynamic, and it's different because there is that dialogue. Most Sunday mornings are not like, you sit and you listen, and it's like Skip wanted people to engage. So he does that. Good news is like such a great part of the service.
So, Jami,
go ahead, Michael.
no, I was
No,
going
you go ahead.
Yeah. So what I was going to ask you, Jami, is that I know that, again, your music is just so inspirational. I mean, it just makes up a lot of the fabric of the music that we sing at our centers and churches. So have you, what is some of the most memorable stories that people have told you about how that your music got them through a really bad situation, or got them through a really rough time in their life? Something that really touched you.
Well, probably one of the most significant experiences I had was one of my teens. I had the honor of doing music for the teens from 1998 through 2010. I did summer camps, I did winter camps, and it was just an honor. So that generation kind of grew up with my songs. And I had one young woman that wrote me this long letter, and I won't name her, but she was from the Pacific Northwest. And she said, in the letter, she said, your music has made a tremendous difference in my life. She says, before camp, I had never been to a camp before, but I was contemplating suicide. And something just said, go to the camp. And I went to the camp and heard your music, and I changed my mind, and I went home and decided to live and thrive. And it was like, I mean, that's, and that was just deep to me, because I've had suicidal ideation, and drug and alcohol abuse and some other things. And then I actually had another young woman who had attempted suicide, and her mother sent an email, said, we are playing your album, Something's Calling Me, 24/7 in her room, just to keep her grounded. And she ended up living and pulling through, but it was like, it's deep. And just there's many ministers that have come forward and said, you know what, Into Your Hands, or Something's Calling Me, or Compassion, any number of songs that really, God in Everyone, the stuff I've written with Gary Lynn Floyd as Floyd Lula. But those moments, it's like, it's that thing that we say in 12-step. It's like, don't quit before the miracle,
Right.
and how many people that decide to check out before something opens up. And, the other idea is just surrounding that, because it's a mental health issue and stuff. And the idea that, we view the darkness culturally as something bad, and we don't talk about it, instead of finding a way to embrace it. And it's like, what are you here to teach me? I mean, that's what my wife always says. It's like, what is this here to teach you? Your anger, your sadness, your joy, your depression. Like, what, there are seeds that are germinating that want to teach us something. And, so I've brought that to some of the music that I've written, actually before I even got It was actually, I wrote a song called There's a Love Song in There Somewhere that I wrote just as I was coming to Agape. And the lyric, I've been contemplating suicide, but a friend told me if I pulled the trigger and died, I'd be killing the wrong person. I'm not where I
Wow.
think I'm supposed to be. I don't like the mirror looking back at me. These buried treasures are digging my own grave. There's a love song in there somewhere. And then the
Wow.
song goes on to recognize that there's something germinating that wants to come forth. And it's another part of the journey.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, yeah. So touching there because that's the theme of life, right? It is a cycle of ever becoming.
Yes.
And when you think you're at some point of demise, if you will, that is the beginning of the next cycle of becoming. And
Yeah.
when we look at nature, when we look at life, it appears everywhere, from
Yes.
the water to the sunrise to the birth. I mean, wherever we look, we see these cycles. And so, the thing, that really sets me on music is that every time I listen to music in your song, I get something different. I get a new cycle of beginning. Something's calling me deeper,
Right.
to look at things differently, to choose new words. And I think that's one of the beauties of music. And so right now, let's just do this. Let's take a break. And when we come back, any new music coming out? How are you looking at New Thought music in the future? And where New Thought is going in the future? So let's take a break, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
This is New Thought Media.
Are you passionate about media, storytelling, and making a difference? Welcome to New Thought Media Network, where your voice matters. We amplify diverse voices and share impactful stories. Join us in our mission. We are a nonprofit organization dedicated to creativity and community, looking for enthusiastic volunteers who want to be part of something bigger. Learn, grow, and collaborate in various aspects of media production. Incredible support and camaraderie await you here. Your contributions will help us create powerful content that resonates with audiences and drives social change.
Ready to make a difference? Visit our website www.ntmedia.org to learn more about volunteer opportunities and how you can get involved.
Find our volunteer inquiry under the Engage tab on our website, or visit www.ntmedia.org/volunteer. We look forward to connecting with you soon.
And we're back with New Thought today with our special guest, Jami Lula, and Reverend Michael sitting in for Reverend Briz, who's on assignment somewhere else. And we want to thank everybody for being here. And as you know, if you're a regular listener, this is the time where we we pull out our crystal ball and we look at the future and we look at the different things that are affecting New Thought in our lives. And one thing we mentioned before we left was the future of new music from Jami. And so, Jami, if you got any new music coming out, any ideas percolating or coming through right now?
You know, I was mentioning earlier, I'm in a mastermind with a couple women that I know, and I just said I'm going to put together a list of songs that I've written on my own, and perhaps even some Floyd Lula songs that I'd like to record for a solo record. And I need to put together a list of Floyd Lula songs because during COVID, we wrote so much music on Zoom. You know, he was up in Reno, up in Lake Tahoe, and then Reno, and so he was here. So it's like I'm just looking at putting together some music for a solo album, and putting together an album, putting together music for a Floyd Lula. And it's interesting because when Gary was here last week, you know, one day we worked on a couple new pieces that we found, and recent. We probably wrote over 100 songs during COVID, but we had a couple songs that were just recent. One's called "You Are the Medicine," and then the next day we played. We figured out the arrangements for a couple songs, and then the next day we started playing stuff that we haven't played since our first record, and we realized a lot of this music has never had a studio version, and we want to create, because we've got a song called "Drifting" and a song about Mary Magdalene called "Sweet Mary," and "What's Your Gospel Gonna Be?" And it's like all these songs that we've got a live recording of them because we were going out on tour. We needed some kind of product. So those are the things. We're at the infancy stage. Probably need to raise some money to make that happen. So that's kind of where we're at. And I'm actually looking at starting a job. I just started training for a job to potentially work with people that are recovering. And so a little bit of recovery work where I get to go lead some groups and stuff like that, and we'll see how that unfolds. But I have 40 years of 12-step experience, coupled with a master's in spiritual psychology, coupled with teaching for 24 years at Musicians Institute, 33 years of sobriety. It's like, okay, I can give back. I've got something to bring to the table to hope, and the music as well.
So getting out the crystal ball here. So what do you, again, we're all kind of in the question here, since COVID, of what's next. Some of our centers have experienced deflation. Some of them are doing extremely well with what I call a community model, where they invite in the whole community. It's not just their center. Right. There's one here in Akron that's not affiliated with any New Thought organization, but that's something that's organically coming up, that holds 12-step meetings, that holds 4 congregations on Sunday, that is active. They have a youth program and a lot of things. So again, we're getting out the crystal ball here. Where do you see us going as a movement, and what are some of your kind of crystal ball suggestions that you can offer that would kind of help us along here? I know that's a loaded question.
I have no crystal ball. I think but this is what I believe. Just my humble opinion. I feel like there's a lot of, with everything that's been going on this last number of years, with the divisiveness that has been creative, with the racism, the sexism, the anti-Semitic, all the different various things, what's going on around the world, what just happened this last weekend. I'm thinking that people are looking they're not looking for it's all good, it's all good, it's all good. They're looking for music that is uplifting and healing, but it's from a real sense. It's like, I love the posies.
Yes.
But I don't necessarily agree with the term positive music, because it's like a lot of my what turns out to be light comes out of the darkness.
Yes.
And it's like, it's the human condition. I think people want real music, real narrative and story that reflects their life experience. That says that where they're seen and they're recognized and they're uplifted. So, I mean, it's like, we don't have a genre of music like R&B or funk or country or folk. I mean, New Thought music is all of those. You've got Harold Paynes and then you've got Jessie Powers, who's out on tour starting in Denver, and she's going to end up here and then going up to Reno and all kinds of stuff. And it's like, it's a mishmash of brilliant artists, Karen Drucker and Daniel Nahmod and Heather Grace Powers and Gary Lynn Floyd and Z and Z Egloff and Melissa Felipe and there's so many people, but we need some younger artists that are interested in writing music and expressing music that uplifts the human spirit. And it doesn't have, like I say, it doesn't have to come from that place of it's all good, it's all good, it's all good, even though it is. It's like, what's your life experience? And when you reflect, when people get that reflection, they're uplifted because they don't feel alone. So I hope that we find some people that want to do dance music and that want to do some electronica and that want to do, just that looping thing, where they create a beat and play their 4 chords and then sing over the top of it like Ed Sheeran. I just think that the world is ready for music that's going to uplift their soul and their vibration. And I think that's the only way we can go in New Thought music, and just a continuation of that. But I'm holding that. But I think it also goes back to our communities and fostering a welcoming and safe environment for young people to come in and to express this, and we're aging out, and a lot of the old people don't want to hear that. And it's like, you know what? You need to create a safe legacy for these people to come in and express. So we used to do it at teen camps. It's like doing spirit raves where it's like all the music was uplifting and stuff like that. And you can ask the teens, man, which like, I feel a baptism coming on, and it'd be dumping water on them and stuff. And it was just, it was fabulous, but it was like that kind of energy. And then we did some spirit raves when I music directed at Asilomar. And, we started out with everybody there and, it dwindled down, but it was like people were dancing their prayers. People were chanting along when it was possible. So it's creating those spaces in our communities where people can participate, where they can move, where they can sing, where they can express themselves. It's going back to indigenous cultures. They're dancing around, they're conjuring up the spirit and dancing in the earth and around the fire. It's like, don't start a fire in your community, but create that energy.
I've been sitting here this whole time. You may have seen my mouth moving, mumbling, trying to come up with a new term for the music and something that transpirational or something like that, so that is transformative and inspirational, that's grounded in real life. And I'm gonna work with that, because now you look at it, it's like, how do we begin to look at all aspects of life, whether they're
Yes.
so-called good or so-called bad, and use them as inspiration for transformation, or take a transformation and make it inspirational to somebody else who may be in that exact same spot looking for a way out.
Yeah.
So that's
Or-
that's how.
Or instead of looking for a way out, looking for a way in to uncover what it has to teach them.
Mhm.
Because I was trying to get out so many times with, all the different addictions that I had, but it's like how to not get out of it, but to drop into it to find out what wants to be revealed.
Mhm.
Yeah, thank you to Christopher White for kind of being with us this afternoon. He said yes, something you said earlier here, Jamie, and also a great program. It just keeps getting better and better. Thank you, Christopher. We appreciate you
Christopher.
watching this afternoon, and I am going to steal your spirit raves idea. So if you see, I'll give you credit for it.
Yeah.
I'll say I got it from Jami Lula, but
Well,
Go ahead.
I have to say that my friend Stephen Bray, who was Madonna's original drummer, and then went on to write music with Allie Willis and Brenda Russell for The Color Purple, and has done a lot of stuff. It was like we both had that idea, and he may have actually coined that phrase. He said that in New York City there were places that you could go on Sunday afternoon and you would just dance, but the music was all uplifting. But the spirit rave, what it encompassed, and when we did it at Asilomar, what was fabulous was we had a DJ and we had the band. And we had Charles Holt on stage and Harold Payne and Daniel and stuff. And we would go between the spinning the music, and sometimes taking the grooves. That was the idea, to take and go between, and then the live musicians. And it was like, man, it was so powerful. But I mean, you obviously can do it with the DJ, but it's I mean, you go to any like dance club and do that, and you move and sweat and stuff like that. But it's just bringing the consciousness, because we would also drop into meditations in the midst of those. Cool. It's like, let's get still, let's stop, let's get still, let's focus on our breath. What's our intention? What's our intention? What's our intention? And we kept coming back to that, and we did it for like 3 hours. It was fabulous.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
and that was. I was just going to say real quick, that was the whole impetus of the beginning of house music. When house music first came out, that's what it was. It was a dance spiritual experience that you would just dance for 2-3 hours. And when you came out of there, you were floating.
Yeah. I came from the I come from the I call them the rave 90s. So I still love EDM music, electronic dance music, and I see that it's interesting how even at the big festivals now, what they do is they incorporate the original gangster stuff, the OG stuff, and again, a lot of that again is in the newer stuff, and that it's still attracting a lot of young people. So, yeah. So no, I like that idea about spirit waves. I'm going to play around with that. That's a wonderful idea to get people back in.
Yeah.
And it would be great to have some adult, not just kids camp, teen camp, some adult camps, right? Not conferences, none of that. Let's get to a camp and let's have a spiritual experience where we talk and we have music and we have discussions and we go on hikes and we meditate. So that, because one of the things I notice in communities now is that warm and fuzzy, not in a flighty kind of way, but that real feel in the community is missing somewhat, because we don't have these kind of experiences to be whole beings and to learn and to get to know you as a whole being. I think back to Asilomar when I first met Jami. I mean, we were together sitting by the fireplace and we stayed up till like 2-3 o'clock in the morning just talking about anything, everything. And there was a bond set right there in those few hours that has lasted for 10, 15 years.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, Chris Collins has continued to do a Asilomar every year since CSL left. She's continued to do it on a much smaller, in a much smaller platform. They don't use the whole facility, but it's like she's made it a lot more friendly as far as the expense of it. But they do it all in one room, and everybody does all the workshops in one room. Wednesday night we do a concert. It's in July, and it's just fabulous just being on that ground. But I agree with you with Reverend Z. You know, we did a men's retreat. Eamon put together the men's group, and we did it up at Camp Cedar Ridge. We did it 1 year, and it's like, you know, I'd love to get something where we do exactly what you're saying, where it's not. I feel like we've got to do more stuff that gets us out of our head and into our hearts. So the movement and the music, and it's like when someone's speaking, it's like sometimes the workshops and stuff, I know people love it, but it's like, let's have experiential. Let's go out and do a hike. Let's go do a meditative walk. It's like make that the entire weekend rather than, well, you got to go hear this person speak and then this person and then this class. And it's like, no, let's do it all together and let's get dirty. Let's get muddy. Let's move. Let's get sweaty.
Yes. Yeah. So we'll have to conjure that up, if you will, because you know, I think about one of the most moving experiences I had was a dream retreat. You know, the setting was just perfect. It was on a glacier island, like 250 miles north of Toronto, but we had a group of people there, and it was more shamanic sessions, and then we talked about dreams and talked about aspirations, and then we went canoeing, and then we came back and we cooked together, and then we came back and we talked some more about dreams, and we left there so charged and so full and connected that I've never forgot it. Never forgot it. It was 20 years ago. I can close my eyes and see myself there right now.
Yeah. Powerful. I'm open.
So
let's
okay.
Let's do it.
Okay, that sounds fun. All right, so we're getting towards the end here, Jami. So, how can people get a hold of you if they want to book you? Is there any websites or anything that we can kind of?
You know, my website's been under construction for. I've just got a one page on it. My email, I'm just going to say it, is jamilula@gmail.com. And you know, because the gig doing Minister of Music ended the end of December, I anticipated it going. I didn't book out this year, so I'm very open right now. I only have a few gigs booked, and then I've got this job that I just started training for that's coming up. But I'm going to have weekends, and I'd love to come and do weekends. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. Jami Lula, JAMILULA for both of those. And I will eventually get my website. And then we also have you know, the Floyd Lula stuff that we do. And we had actually spoken about wanting to do a men's weekend where we do, you know, it's all men, it's straight men, it's gay men, it's, you know, trans, whatever, where men can come together and share. And I think it's more along the lines of what you were speaking of, Reverend Z, like where it's open at the top, and it's not a heady experience, it's a heart experience.
Yeah.
So that's Jami's contact information. If
because I think right now, sometimes my head. Yeah, and I was gonna say sometimes my head is about to explode. We got too much heady stuff. We got to get some hard stuff now, because I think the head stuff is it's head stuff. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. And it's not to judge it, you know, it is what it is, but it's like, man,
no.
Yeah. That's why I think like music festivals, you know, serve that when you got different tents, and it's like, well, there's a tent, they're doing a meditation in between the sets of the music, and it's what we had talked about with Casey at Camp Cedar Ridge, creating a music festival there. You know, it's outside Portland. It's kind of a long way for a lot of people to come, but it's a great venue, and I hope they can continue to upgrade it to become more adult friendly, because a lot of adults don't want to sleep in cabins and shower. They want their own private space. Understandable, but let's continue to grow that space because it's fabulous. It's fabulous for the teens. Let's make it fabulous for the adults too, and it's a legacy that we can continue to pass on. And I hope that we can get a music festival there, you know, and get a couple anchor artists that could propel it even more.
Yeah, that would be great. Well, you know, I think as I sit here and just reflect on this conversation, I think we should all pick one day of the week where we don't watch TV, we don't do any of that, we don't look at any devices, we just play music all day.
Yeah.
Different kinds. It doesn't matter. Classical, jazz, funk, house, spirituals. Just play music all day to set another kind of tone and a vibe in the space.
Yep. Agreed. Absolutely.
Would really create a new thought, right?
We need a new thought right now.
So as Michael said, we're at that. Yes. Go ahead, Michael.
No, I was going to say we're at that point where that Reverend Briz would thank a bunch of people. So why don't we do that, and we'll come back and we'll have final thoughts here on the New Thought Media Network.
Please help us say thank you to all of our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Center for Spiritual Living United Life, Sunshine Cathedral, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Universal Joy Center, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa, Home Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. On behalf of New Thought Media Network, thank you, and please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, come be you.
And for those of you who would like to help and assist us in all the great stuff that we do here at New Thought Media Network, it's ntmedia.org/donate. ntmedia.org/donate. If you just go to that page and go up to the top menu, you'll see a donate button. Again, a very generous one-time gift, or again, what I've been encouraging individuals to do is to be a sustaining donor here. Again, catch the vision of our network, again, to get not only positive music, but positive message around the world. Jamie and Reverend Z, do you have any final comments for us?
I have to remember to say that Gary Lynn Floyd and I are the musical inspiration and music directors for the Anton Conference at Unity Village in October. And I hope you all come out. I know it's going to be a fabulous conference. I don't know the exact dates. I apologize for that. And
it's the first week in October.
First week in October. Gary Lynn Floyd and I will be there, and we'll probably create a little tour around it and find some other places to perform. But that will be a really special event. I love Bill Marcioni, and I know Robert's on the board, and Sydney Lehman, who's at North Hollywood, is on the board, and it's just a fabulous group of people. But we get to do music. We get to be the music directors this year. So
That is one of the best conferences that I attend.
yeah.
Is the Anton conference, because it's not only, again, it's not only the music, but they give you some space to breathe. You're not just going from activity to activity, but you're allowed to, go to the morning session and then maybe take a nap in the afternoon. So
Yeah.
yes. Well, looking forward to seeing you there, Jami. Z, do you have any other things that you would like to add?
Yep. I would just say I want to take a page out of the Book of Wonder, that is Stevie Wonder, and say that we should every day look to write a song in the key of life, and make it a good one, and be an example of what it means to go through the peaks and valleys of this thing called life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Amen.
Oh, how wonderful. So if you'd like to get a hold of Jami again, he told you that his schedule is open. Jami Lula at gmail.com. Yeah, the schedule is open. And so get your dates now, Jami Lula at gmail.com. And then in October, then they will be in and around the Kansas City area. So we're the Unity Villages. So we're looking forward to so if there's any churches or organizations that would like to have those two fine musicians to come and visit your community, again, that's they're going to be around the area. So put together a tour. All right. Well, thank you, Reverend Z. Thanks for having me in today and kind of subbing in at the last minute. So it's really nice to get to know you a little bit more, Jami. And again, looking forward to seeing you again in October here. All right, folks. Well, time for us to get on out of here again. That's New Thought today. On behalf of Reverend Elzia Sekou and also Jami Lula, I'm Michael Mangus. Again, wishing you peace, love, and blessings until the next time we meet. Bye now.
See you, bro.
Come expand your spiritual journey. Join us for Just the Talk. Sundays, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Experience Unity Kitchener and Ottawa. Center for Spiritual Living Midtown. Center for Spiritual Living Denver. Unity of Garden Park. New Thought Philadelphia. The Sunshine Cathedral. Unity of Savannah. And the Ohm Center for Spiritual Living. Come unleash your spiritual potential with New Thought Media Network.